So did season 3 end off right, or do we have a lot more questions before season 4 is confirmed? Is this story completely just about Louis and Lestat, or did everyone else get left off of Bad and Bougie? Or is season 4 going to be about everyone else? Because after episode 7, I realized something, that the emotional ending belongs to Louis and Lestat, but everyone else is still on unfinished business. So what does that leave for season 4? By the end of this video, I hope you understand my point of view on why I don't think that the Vampire Lestat ended everyone's story. It only ended Louis and Lestat's. Everyone else still has unfinished business, and that's exactly what I want to break down in today's video. Armand is like one of my favorite vampires from the Vampire series, the Vampire Chronicles, or Anne Rice Vampire series, and just simply because I relate to him more like romantically, like when it comes to like love and like your partner, like that scene between him and Louis where Louis tells him like, you're so boring. Like I can't tell you how many situationships, because I've never been in a relationship, or how many situationships or first level dating that I've been in with guys and some women, you know, and they tell me that I'm boring. I don't argue, I don't fuss. It's not here to really talk about my love life, but I'm just saying that I relate to Armand when it comes to people saying that he's boring, and then I guess he turns, I don't want to say I turn it vindictive or nothing, or like, what's the word? Not built up animosity. It's a word, starts with an R. Build up resentment when it comes to, you know, your partner, when you feel like you're giving your all and you don't understand why they can't love you or why they think that you're boring. Just like when Armand told Daniel, he said, Louis thinks you're interesting. Why are you interesting? You're gonna sit here until I figure out how you're interesting. So AMC made Armand mysterious, manipulative, emotionally controlling, but the books spend much more time exploring his trauma, loneliness, need for control, and why he becomes such a dangerous figure over the centuries. Because in the book, when we first meet Armand, Lestat goes into the Paris coven of satanic worshipers or devil worshipers, and he has like a childlike experience, you know, appearance, not experience, a childlike appearance, and you know, that's why I think they really kept and explored, because even when they was like going into the church and all those kind of things, the book readers, y'all know what I'm talking about. So when they explore all these kind of things, it makes me always think about Armand's character development and how he could be misunderstood, right? So why do book readers fear Armand so much, but TV only fans don't? I think that the people that watched Assad's performance, they appreciate Assad's performance, and so do I. I thought he was menacing. I thought it could have been a lot more, but a lot of people during like reviews and stuff, they were pointing out like his face expression, he's unable to smile, he doesn't have any feelings, like such things is like that. And I think the show hints at that. It doesn't fully unpack it. That doesn't make the adaptation bad. It just means there's still a lot of Armand left to tell. Then this discussion of the apology scene, Louis refuses to apologize. Armand wanted acknowledgement. Louis chose freedom instead. Both men leave that conversation wounded. Was Armand asking for accountability, or was he asking Louis to validate centuries of manipulation? And that's the question I want y'all to answer in the comments below. Was Armand asking for accountability, or was he asking Louis to validate centuries of manipulation? And I think that Armand kind of left himself inside that situation too, to be not manipulated, but just he took a back seat. And I don't it was so much mirroring of me, like just being passive of understanding that somebody can never love you, but you'll accept pieces of them that'll love you, you get what I'm saying, to your own detriment, and you build resentment in your heart because you knew that you should have been let go of this situation, but you keep reopening the wounds over and over again with a possibility of love. He did that with Lestat, he did it with Louis, and I'm pretty sure a lot of his previous lovers Armand has done that with. So that brings me back to the question, was Armand asking Louis for accountability? Because in that scene where Armand kept saying, you know, in the past, what was it, 73 or 77 years they had been together, he said all the time you turn around, you say that you spoke that God-forsaken name into our home. You said Lestat, 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 Lestat. So that's like one of my favorite scenes of him and Armand. Like, it was so good. Interview with the Vampire season 2 was so freaking good. But again, was Armand asking for accountability, or was he asking Louis to validate centuries of manipulation? And it's kind of like, does Armand actually deserve an apology, especially what he did with Claudia just to get revenge, using Regina to basically strip Louis away again from Lestat? Now let's talk about my boy Daniel Malloy. My boy Daniel Malloy, okay? Why is Daniel called the devil's minion? This is something that I still can't like grasp my head around, or I haven't read so much of the books to understand how Daniel became the devil's minion. Somewhere in the timeline is getting a little suspicious, because it's like they talk about San Diego. They was writing the books, and Louis and Armand was together. Then they moved to Dubai. He got changed. Well, he got the dark gift from Armand. Then they flew on some type of jet or something like that. So, explaining it for the TV viewers without spoiling future material, Devil's Minion is the name fans use for one of the most important relationships in the Vampire Chronicles, Daniel and Armand. Armand! It's a nickname rooted in their dynamic for the books, and many viewers are watching to see how AMC develops their relationship on screen. Daniel has always been an audience. Okay? Now, he's a part of the story. Season 4 has an opportunity to explore what immortality changes for Daniel. And I want them to explore that so much, especially like they didn't talk about Daniel's first time like peeing in a urinal and it being blood, because he was the last mortal that we knew before we really got to venture off into Louis and Lestat's like life and Armand's life. You know, he was the last mortal that we were introduced to. You know, before the Vampire Lestat, we saying like main characters, because if we really want to be talking about it, we can talk about TC and all the bandmates and all those new vampires, but they're just part of the Make More series thing going on. Let's talk about Gabrielle. Gabrielle surprised me. She just wasn't Lestat's mother. She became her own vampire. She rejected society. She rejected her son. And she rejected her husband. She rejected her motherhood. She rejected expectations. That's fascinating. I actually wanted more of Gabrielle. You know what? For all my folks out there that got mommy issues, I'm pretty sure y'all understand the relationship between Lestat and Gabriella, right? I think that Gabriella knows her son so much that it was further torture that when Lestat turned her into a vampire, he imagined that he was going to get this relationship with his mom that he never got before. And that couldn't be quite the opposite. She wanted to make more. She wanted more vampires. She wants the end of the world. So I definitely want to see what it's like when Lestat woke up on the bus and he was running around looking for Louis. He seen his mother, and then he automatically got into an argument with his mom about, you know, not wanting to go on stage and perform, or going to go make more and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, will Lestat ever really stand up to Gabrielle, the vampire of Gabriella? Will they ever stop sleeping together? You know, and will Louis be able to right in the middle of that and say, look, lady, this is my man, okay? My man, my baby, dicking me down, driving me crazy, and you're not going to interfere with our relationship, okay? Let's move on to Nicolas de Lenfent, Lestat's first love. Did Nicolas ever stop haunting Lestat? You know, I don't think that Nicolas ever left Lestat's mind. I think the show does a great depiction of that. Like every step of the way, Nicolas de Lenfent was in the back of his mind. And I think for everyone who has a first love, that first love don't ever really like leave your mind like that. Now you may not like think about them, but they will never like leave your frontal lobe or frontal cortex? I don't know. They don't never leave your brain, because they're like a pivotal moment in your character development as a human being. So I don't think I don't think Nicolas de Lenfent ever left Lestat's brain, even after death, even after the music. I think music actually reminds him of Nicolas de Lenfent. I think that's one of the reasons why Lestat, besides his own interest, is why he's so interested in music. Nicolas represents the life Lestat never got to keep, that he initially wanted before he was even changed into a vampire, right? He wanted to get old and die with Nicolas, but Magnus had other plans. AMC captured that tragedy beautifully. I think so as well. Let's talk about Antoinette. Antoinette isn't just another woman. She's important because she represents the version of Lestat that love could not control. Okay, unlike Louis, she never challenged him. The contrast helps us understand why Louis and Lestat's relationship was always more complicated. Look, Antoinette was just a fuck bag, and there ain't nothing else to really say about it. I don't think he really cared about her the way that he cared about Louis. I think she was an emotional punching bag at the same time too. You know how like when you have that single period in your life, and it's like you are dating around, but you do have that specific person that you fucking, because it'd be a whole lot out there in the streets that you don't want to bring home to your new partner or whatnot. So I feel like Antoinette was kind of like that middle line, that middle point, to where, you know, this is the main person that you're sleeping with, you're swapping fluids with, okay, while you're out there looking for your soulmate. And I think that's the purpose that Antoinette served. And I still don't know if I forgive Lestat for their relationship in the middle of them trying to build it with Louis, from Louis's point of view, because from the point of the vampire Lestat, it's a whole nother ball game, right? Let's move on to Akasha, okay? And I am the answer. Okay, ain't that what Akasha said? Where is Akasha? Episode 5 introduces her, and we did all that hype and stuff because, we know Aaliyah played the role of Akasha in the Queen of the Dam, right? Even though I've never seen that movie, I've loved this new introduction of Akasha. And that tells me that season 4 isn't about Louis anymore. It's about the ancient vampires, right? And I kind of want to see the contrast between when Akasha was a vampire with Envir, her husband or whatnot, and the Egyptians, okay, and a male. I kind of want to see the contrast of the vampires back then into this new world, because we got a flash from episode 7 at the end that the world is destroyed, I guess, after Lestat puts on a concert. Let's talk about Marius. I actually wanted more of Marius, especially after he tells Lestat he wasn't chosen by accident. That line completely changes how we saw Lestat. Like, why is Lestat so important? Why did, because Lestat's maker, Magnus, wasn't even that important. He stole his dark gift, really. He tricked, he tricked a vampire into giving him the dark gift. Magnus did. So it was like, why does Akasha want Lestat? Like, what makes Lestat so special? And who is Marius? And how do we really stumble upon Marius? Like, so many things kind of weren't explained, but they were implied to be able to tell the full story of the vampire Lestat. So I'm definitely, more intrigued into finding out who the vampire Marius was. Now let's talk about Magnus, all right? Magnus may have died, but every decision Lestat makes still traces back to him. Abuse echoes across generations. Magnus is proof that one monster can create many more. Listen, I think this very much references to the point of Gabrielle forcing Lestat when he was 9 years old to watch the witch hunt, burnings or whatnot. So same thing that Lestat did to Claudia. He made Claudia watch the other guy inside the oven burn. So I think a lot of decisions that Lestat makes as a vampire, he learned from Magnus, even though Magnus didn't teach him a lot. He just danced in the fire. But I feel like a lot of things he taken up, whether they tell us or not, like if Lestat read his journals or experiences, or like Nicolas de Lenfent hunting him, I'm pretty sure Magnus was able to speak to him, beyond the beyond, okay? So let's talk about some things that I want to predict for season 4, some things that I want to see, and some things that I just recently read in some of these books, because we didn't met Marius, we didn't met Akasha, we didn't met Merrick, and we didn't met so many characters that is from so many books. The AMC adaptation had decided to not just tell the story in chronological order from one book to the next, but encompass all the information together to build these characters that we come to love. So some of the things that I would want from season 4 is more Armand, more Devil's Minion, more Daniel Malloy, because y'all not just gonna make me call him Devil's Minion. More Akasha, more ancient vampire mythology, more Gabrielle, the vampire Sophia. More Marius, and let Daniel actually experience immortality. Sometimes I think that we get so lost into him doing an interview or interviewing Louis and Lestat that we don't actually get into the backstory of Daniel. Like, I want to know about Daniel's children. I want to know about Daniel's life as a mortal before he got the dark gift for Armand. What was the relationship like between Armand and Daniel? Armand kind of just said, like, it was love when I turned you, making you my fledgling. It was love then. So let's experience that. Let's kind of see the love between Daniel and Armand, because in the Vampire Lestat season, all we kind of seen was animosity, and it wasn't hidden. So let me end this video with some questions. I just want to know your opinion, so make sure you drop your opinion down below. Did AMC underuse Armand? I don't think so. And I think the last episode kind of proved that it works well. I think that not putting him so much inside of the episodes kind of led to him keeping that mysterious, aspect about him, And I think Armand definitely needs to be eerie and mysterious, because that's just what his character is. Who deserved more screen time? In my opinion, I feel like Marius deserved more screen time. At first, when I was first watching the season 3, The Vampire Lestat, I felt like Louis deserved more screen time for sure. And Akasha. What character changed your opinion the most? For me, I feel like I don't know. I feel like Lestat kind of changed my opinion the most. Like how I felt about Lestat. Like I felt like Lestat was evil. Like down. Like Interview with the Vampire season 1, season 2. I felt like Lestat was the villain the whole time. Especially when he picked up Louis and dropped him all the way out the air. You know, but this season, and especially like that whole situation around Claudia, the coven, and all that kind of stuff, I feel like the Vampire Lestat season 3 really explained and really brought into perspective a different viewpoint of what that was like and the whole trial and sentencing. So I feel like Lestat, changed my opinion the most about just the whole overall, Vampire Chronicles. Who should lead season 4? Of course, we want Akasha to lead season 4. Even though, I don't know who, like, if they tell it from another perspective, kind of like Interview with the Vampire was Louis, the Vampire Lestat was Lestat. And so maybe Akasha for season 4, right? Do you think the devil's mean? Or it could be Daniel. I would gag if it was led by Daniel. Do you think the devil's minion should become the emotional focus next season? I think that it could start off that way, but I don't think the full season should focus on the dynamic of Armand and Daniel. I don't think so. I think it would be very more interesting if they did it Akasha-wise and then kind of like how they did season 3, like encompass all the books and stories together to make it a linear situation. So we reached the end of this video. If you missed my episode 7 analysis where I explain all monsters aren't created equally, make sure to go watch that video next. Then come back because I still have one more Vampire Lestat video coming. I'm ranking every single song off Lestat's album, right? Because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about Lestat's album, and I think that I loved some of the songs. So in the next video, we're gonna be talking about the best song, worst song, most emotional song, best lyrics, best performance, scene, best guitar solo, and so far and so forth. Did AMC accidentally create one of the best fictional rock albums in television? You can away. Then he said, I really love Loneliness, Black Licorice. Look, I'm already giving y'all sneak peeks into the next episode. But I love this. Let me know some of your thoughts below about season 3 and some of your predictions for season 4 in the comments below. Make sure to like this video, hype this video, save it, share it with your mama, daddy, your uncle, your uncle, auntie. Okay, make sure to leave a purple heart in the comments below because over here we show love. Okay, make sure to subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you can be notified every time that I post a video. And make sure to check out my last video, Late Night Pop Culture, where we talk about everything that's going on in the streets, music-wise, TV-wise, dance-wise, internet-wise. Okay, I'll see y'all later. If nobody told you all year, all month, all week, all day, I love you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.